Mic'd up.
Welcome everybody to Warrior Companion Podcast. I'm Mic'd Up. I'm your host, John Rager, PJ broadcaster, and joined by Jack PAWDCAST, founder of Warrior Companion, which provides pet health care and insurance for the service dogs of disabled military veterans. This episode is brought to you by the Animal Hospital of Sullivan County, New York, where pets are family. Hey, our guest today has been impersonating Rodney Dangerfield for over 15 years and certainly has mastered Rodney's quick wit and one-liners. And he also incorporates them into his act, which looks, sounds, and acts just like Rodney. So let's welcome the best Rodney tribute act of all time, of anywhere in the world, especially in the world of Caddyshack, Marc Melzer.
Hey, what a crowd. Hey, thanks a lot. You know, I've been waiting for this podcast to get a little respect.
Just a little bit.
You're not going to get it here, babe. I'll tell you what right now. Hey, before we get started, this is the Warrior Companion Podcast, and we'd like to have Jack PAWDCAST, the founder of Warrior Companion, tell us more description of what it is and what you're trying to accomplish and everything before we get started with Sir Rodney here.
So, my life starts out as a combat veteran in Iraq. I was a medic, and when I got out, I was completely lost, broken, challenged, mentally ill, you name it, you got it. Instead of turning to alcohol and drugs, I figured I might just start a nonprofit and try to help out my brothers and sisters that are in struggling in life. And being that I've been in the veterinarian industry for over 35 years, I know that animals make a huge difference in our life. And unfortunately, a lot of these service members and first responders that are disabled are on a fixed income. And I watched the pet industry go from, a $300 million industry to a $1 trillion industry in the 30 years. So it's getting more and more expensive to take care of those animals. And pet insurance came along in 1953, which I had no idea that was even a thing. And I found it out in 2019, I guess it was, that we could provide pet insurance for animals so that way they can go to any veterinarian and be taken care of, both for preventative care and catastrophe care. And that's where Warrior Companion was born. And it was all because of Gary Sinise, really, because I went to one of his programs and seen what he does, amazing stuff for the disabled veteran community, and seeing a dog in action while I was following him around is what gave me the idea. And so that's what Warrior Companion is. And different ways we do fundraising is having people like Marc come out and help entertain the troops, I like to say, and do golf tournaments, because golf is also a huge benefactor and stress reliever and anxiety killer for veterans, and especially combat veterans. And then basically anybody with a little PTSD. You might get out there and get mad and bend a club, but at least you're not turning the bar upside down, and you're having a good time doing it. So, so that's why I formed Warrior Companion. And it keeps me alive every day knowing that we may be saving just one veteran from taking their lives. And the beauty of Warrior Companion is actually we're saving two lives. We're saving the veteran and the animal, because the companion is most important for that veteran. Their unconditional love is what they need. So that's why I formed Warrior Companion. And that's why I have people like John Rager helping me with the podcast, and great guys like Marc that does Rodney and Dangerfield imitations. And, I love Rodney growing up as a kid. And then Marc just brought back all kinds of great memories of my childhood by what he does. So that's what I'm here for.
Well, Jack, we appreciate it. We appreciate your service. We thank you for your service. We appreciate the work you do with these, and I've seen it in action. I've actually got to meet a couple canine companions throughout the last year or so, and some of the vets that are associated with them. So thank you again for that. So now we're on to Marc Melzer. Now, we're gonna. I don't know. It's hard not to call you Rodney. You're in full regalia. Look, you've got the sweater, the hat, the golf bag. There's, all kinds of memorabilia that I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later. But how does one wake up one morning and go, I'm going to be the best imitator of Rodney Dangerfield in the world via Caddyshack? How's one? How do you get to that point in your life? And I'm not a spring chicken, and Jack isn't either, and neither are you. So you must have had something previously in your life that you've done that contributed to society, and now you're doing Rodney Dangerfield impersonation for the last 15 years. So give us a synopsis of where you started with all this.
Yeah, so I was a regional manager with Singer Sewing Machines back in the '90s, and I went
Oh
to a
man,
convention in
that's a sexy job there. Let me tell you.
oh,
Holy smokes!
before that it was Hoover, so two nice U.S. brands that
So what
you
you did then
know.
is, and not to interrupt, but what you did then is maybe that's how you became a comedian because you had them in stitches.
Yeah, well, it
I'll
helps
shut
me
up now
clean
and
up
you
too.
carry on.
Okay. So anyway, I was out in Vegas. Somebody came up to me. I was at a convention. They go, "You look a lot like Rodney," and I go, hey, really?" So I would just tell jokes to friends when we got together. And so back in about 2010, my daughter was going away to college. I Googled impersonator conventions and found one in Orlando and Vegas, signed up for both. I go to Orlando. I met this guy, Bill, lives in Sarasota, said he's already made $1.2 million doing it when
Wow.
corporate was good before 2008. He went to Guam and all over the place. I go, "Are you kidding me?" So I go, "I'm like the young Rodney back then, because Rodney got his start late, really. He was
Yeah.
selling, siding, and he really didn't get his break till his 50s. So I go, perfect timing. So I had the look. I could tell a joke. I could deliver a joke. The voice goes in and out. Oh, I got to tell you, it goes in, and sometimes it goes to my own voice, but the rest of the package is pretty good. And it's so much fun to make people laugh. So I went to these conventions. I get up on stage, and I've got a good feel for the whole thing, the whole persona. And then so I figured out my act is like 15 minutes. So people are like, "Well, why don't you make it a half hour or 40? You'll get more work." I go, every minute is maybe 7 or 8 jokes. So the memory is not there for that. I'm great in a meet and greet setting, conventions, walk around for hours. But I focus on Caddyshack golf tournaments. And I've got it down to a system with a boom box. I'm on a par three, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, that's really something. That you're doing this because the moment I met you, and I met you like maybe almost when you first got started out there, and it was so novel and it was so much fun just to meet you walking around, and there's Rodney Dangerfield right there from Caddyshack. So one of the questions I have for you is uh, you've traveled far and wide, I'm sure, doing
Yeah,
this, and
go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, I just say you traveled far and wide doing this. So tell us where you've been, kind of doing these things, and maybe there's maybe some unusual or funny things that happened to you along the way.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the first thing. I get a badge to get into the PGA show back in 2012, and I meet a guy named Saho. Saho says, "My friend, I'm bringing you out to the Puerto Rico Open." So 2 months later, he flies me into Puerto Rico, puts me up for an entire week on property at the Puerto Rico Open. I didn't have to work till 3 o'clock every day. Now, back then, the sweater wasn't around. Thank God for, uh, I'm trying to think of the name of the company that puts out the sweater. Anyway, before then, I just had a gopher on a stick on a golf club, and I walked around. So I got to know Chi Rodriguez
Oh wow!
that week. He puts on clinics for kids, or he did. God rest his soul. What a great guy. And And that was fun. I was there for a whole week. The biggest names there would have been Rocco Mediate, Kevin Stadler, the son of Craig, because that week there's another golf tournament in Florida. It's one of the few competitive things. The Puerto Rico Open was a smaller purse. But I had a great time that week, and that started me off. So a couple of the things of great memory. When I go to the PGA show, my agenda is to try to find work, and I go every year. And I walk around with the gopher and the crazy outfit on, reproduction sweater, reproduction pants. I don't always pick up work at the show, but I do at the bars after the show. So I go into a bar and the woman's looking at me. I come over, her and her husband. They hire me for a demo days in Wichita. At the same time, there's two guys on the other side of me that make nylon underwear, and they're marketing it for the golf tournament because it makes it easy to swing. So they were a sponsor at the Bill Murray Caddyshack tournament that year. They gave me a small fee and flew me in for the Bill Murray Caddyshack tournament.
Wow.
Now, so Bill was not there that year because his son was on the staff of Xavier and they made it to the final 8. So he was out of town. I met all of his other brothers, got into great conversations with Cato Kalin from the OJ trial, and Debbie Dunning from Home Improvement, who was Heidi, and many, many other interesting people. And that was such a great tournament. So then years later, I get a gig from the show out at Pebble Beach. A guy rents a house on the second hole every year for the AT&T Pro-Am, wanted me to entertain, and gives me a pass to walk around. So my goal is to meet Bill Murray. So I follow him, talk to him a little bit. Finally, he ends up at a fence with a lost ball. Nobody's on the other side of the fence but me and one guy. And I said, take pictures now. So I got pictures with him. And this is just before COVID. So he was on my mask, the two of us for COVID. So that was really great. Oddly enough, a year and a half ago, I get a call from and go back to Pebble Beach, and they were honoring Butch Harmon. So they had, and I'm sure you're familiar, there was a guy, Jim. Oh, he ran Cypress for years. So they do a memorial for him every year. And they started like in 2012. They actually had Palmer, they had Nicholas. So I said to him, Butch Harmon, that's fine. I said, who'd you honor last year? They said, Sir Nick Faldo and Steve Young. And I'm going, oh, crap, why didn't you have me last year? Anyway, Butch was a great guy. But to meet the other two would have been, that would have been nice. I did something at the Villages. That was great. The Art of the Swing with Nicholas Duval and Furyk. And what they did is they hit little wiffle balls out into the crowd. Well, at first, the people at the Villages didn't know what was going on. There's a number on each ball. You bring the number in, you get a signed hat or a signed shirt. Well, I figured my best spot was going to be inside to meet these guys. so I was talking to Duval and Furyk at the bar for probably half an hour. This is right after Furyk had that 59. And but
Wow.
I was one of the first that got Nicholas when he came down from meeting with some wounded upstairs at the event. So that was memorable. I'd say meeting Nicholas or Tiger would have been a bucket list for me, and I got to do that. So that was kind of cool.
You must have quite a photo collection then of of you with. I mean, you got Bill Murray and Nicholas and all those.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
And I've done a couple things with John Daly. So the first picture I got looked like this. And I told him to smile. So a couple of years later, we do something. He's at the PGA show. I go, hey, John, I want to show you a picture. I go, could I get a smile out of you? So I got it. You never know what you're going to get with John Daly.
No, sure don't.
Hey, Mark, I know looking around your office there's a picture back there of some, looks like the cast of Caddyshack you have up there on the wall. Explain what that is. I saw that earlier when I introduced you. And what is that?
you've got what would be your right or your left. You've got Noonan, Michael O'Keefe, the caddy. Then you have Cindy Morgan, who was the blonde girlfriend, and then
Lacey
you have
Underalls, right?
and then they brought in a surprise guest, shooter Chris McDonald.
Hmm.
So funny enough, I see Chris McDonald at Comic Cons, and I carry up this picture with me, and he's leaving his booth. I want to get a free picture with him, and he looked at me like he didn't know me, and I showed him the picture. He goes, "Oh, I was fresh from my DUI in California." I go, "That's right. Somebody had to
Oh no.
drive you down for that."
Oh
But
boy.
he was such a special guy. He's such a nice guy. So Cindy passed away a few years ago from mysterious circumstances, but I had done probably 4 or 5 things with her. And once again, for what I do in life, that's a bucket list to be associated with anything from the movie. I met Chevy Chase at a Comic-Con. So
Really?
he has some some dementia. He can have a conversation, but there's something that's wrong there.
Right.
And so he's in a wheelchair. He can walk, but for a photo shoot, they wheel him around. He stops by me and looks up, and he that's all he says to me is day 2 for you. So that tells you that he's not all right. I'm in my outfit. He should have said,
Hey, talking
Rodney, is
about
that you?
hey, talking about outfits that you're wearing. So you just mentioned the sweaters, are more they weren't available when you first started, but you can go online and buy these kind of things. But and I also know that when you watch the original movie, the golf bag was one of the big props that was part of the movie. And now I guess companies have marketed, and they made a few changes here and there. But tell us about the golf bag, and because I believe
So
that's
here's
Cervic
what
is.
happened when the movie came
Yeah.
out. There was a company, A&R Collectibles, and they would have people in for signings, the people from Young Frankenstein, Gene Wilder, and they had Cindy Morgan in to sign golf balls. Anyway, they paid back in 1980 approximately, I think $10,000 to have the exclusive rights to market the hats and the shirts and the logo golf balls and the bag. And there was a certain, let's say, patent, let's say it was 35 years, whatever it was. At a certain point, this bag that I bought for like $5.79, they had what I call a Bojack, a cheaper version that came out that's on the market. Same thing with the hats and the pin flags and stuff like that. So if you have a tournament and you want to get in 200 of these to give away, you're not going through A&R. You're just buying something that looks like the product. It's not quite as good, if you know what I mean. So,
Right.
but the bag is cool. My son-in-law is thinking of putting in um, um, AirPod. I'm trying to think of what they're called. So the clubs will fly out. He goes, "What do you want them to jump 3 inches?" I go, "No, if you're putting them in, they have to jump 3 feet. I want those clubs to fly out." I have a wireless remote for a boom box. So, but the bag is cool. If I'm driving somewhere like the tournament in Liberty, I will have the bag with me because people want pictures with the bag. It makes a real nice picture with a group of people.
What's
Um,
really
That's
cool though,
absolutely
Mark,
fantastic.
what's
yeah,
really
and
cool is that
once in a while, if I fly, I will take it also. But
what's really cool is that Bill Murray owns part of this golf course. So
oh yeah, that's what I
it's
heard.
you're like part of the Caddyshack family coming to Liberty to do my golf tournament for Warrior Companion and helping veterans and their dogs. But you're going to be playing on a Bill Murray owned golf course.
That is
It's so
crazy.
cool, right? It's funny. And I just met you this year through John at the PGA, and it was like the perfect timing of all that happening. It's like
Can I ask you?
it's like
Did
Rodney looking down on us right now and then putting us all together.
Yeah, did you know to look for me at the show, or it was just
It
random?
just was random. Actually,
Well,
John
Mark,
saw you
Mark, you're walking around 50,000 people at a PGA show,
dressed like
and
Rodney Dangerfield.
And you were in full regalia. How can anybody miss you with that sweater and
Oh no, there's
the
no
whole
doubt
deal?
about that. No.
In fact, all you had to do is stand at the entrance. We're just waiting to go in, and you
Actually,
stand at the entrance.
he was sitting down on his phone, and you go, "Oh my God, you got to come over and meet Mark." And I'm like, "Who's Mark?" And I'm like, "Holy shit, it looks like Rodney Dangerfield." And that's how
Hey,
it all
Mark.
started.
Hey, Mark and Jack, for our viewers out there, we're expound just a little bit on this golf course, and then Jack, at the end of the broadcast, wants you to tell us about the Warrior Companion Golf Tournament coming up at Sullivan County Golf Club, Liberty, New York. But Mark, this golf course is owned by a group of people, three of them. One is obviously Bill Murray. The next one is football's Jason Kelce.
Oh
Is part
wow.
owner.
The Eagles.
And the last mic up we just did was with Tom
Tom
Coyne.
Coyne.
Tom is the golf course owner also, and he is a best-selling author. He's written 6 golf books now. The first 5 have become bestsellers, and I'm sure the 6th one will too. And he's also a golf course architect. He's kind of golf's renaissance man. He owns this little 9-hole golf course up in the Catskills, and all these people are involved with it. They had their 100th anniversary last summer, and in fact, if you if you go to Warrior Companion, you just put the @ Warrior Companion, you'll see things pop up, and there's a great picture, and it's got Jack with Sophia, one of the Warrior Companion canines. It's got Bill Murray, and it's got a good friend, Michael Furr, who owns 5 Guinness World Records in golf. And they're all standing there shooting the breeze, having a good time right there at the 100th anniversary. So we'll go into that
Wow.
tournament a little bit later as we progress. And hey, one of the things earlier too, did I spot a gopher somewhere in your collection of fine memorabilia?
So
Hold that up. What is that? Let's see what you got.
so this is what I call my small gopher. There's also a big one. I'm looking for him. And
Hmm.
this is a great size gopher. He goes on a utility club or a putter. It's a real nice size, and he's got some nice features to him. And I get these all from a company called Daphne's that I
Yes.
that I met at the show years ago.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I would get them in quantity because I would give them away once in a while. If I'm at a tournament, somebody would get one.
Hmm.
Once in a while you have to do fundraising at a tournament. That's another story. Because there's charity tournaments, right? I mean, many
Yeah.
tournaments are charity.
Yep.
Usually they take care of it themselves. They have auctions and sponsors but just another little thing. Anyway, he's
Hey,
a perfect little
hey, wait a
size.
second. Your gopher needs to beat my gopher, so I've got a
That's the
gopher too.
By the way,
I won this in a
that's the other gopher I have.
Well,
I
I
call him
won
the
this in a
big.
golf tournament. It was the first place prize in a golf tournament. It had a Caddyshack shack theme to it, and uh, and then what I did is, my previous life, I used to be a member of a crew in Gasparilla, which is a giant celebration where the Pirates invade Tampa years ago,
Yeah.
and we march in parades and we do service work for charities and stuff like that. So you have to throw beads. So I made my own custom beads. I've got
We
it's a golf ball smoking a cigar with like a hat that Bill Murray would certainly wear. But anyway, so
we
us
really
golf
don't want
nuts,
to go into real discussion on how John really got those beads, but that's okay.
we don't want to go there.
That's
No, but
another
anyway,
discussion.
at least my gopher got to meet your gopher, and it's not a golf memorabilia collection. If you're really into golf, if you don't have a gopher, we're gonna have to send Jack a gopher head cover or something.
I have one on my head cover that I had at Chi Rodriguez's golf course.
Oh
Remember?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I
okay,
also had a flamingo too,
Oh wow.
absolutely. Well, you
and a
gotta make
buckeye.
sure. Okay, then you're part of the fraternity here. You got your own gopher. That's just
That's all
fantastic.
that matters.
And when I come up to your tournament, I'll have plenty of naked lady tees. Once in a while, people want one. So
Awesome.
That's the best way to do it. I remember I played in a pro am. It's called a pro junior. The PJ does these all over the country, and so I had 3 kids with me, and they get to play with the PJ Pro, and it's the pro junior and things like that. And this one sponsor is just totally tone deaf. We all get these little goodie bags of stuff, and there's a golf towel and a cap and this, that, and the other. And sure enough, everybody had a set of naked lady tees. Somebody just threw it into the bag, probably didn't look at them, and and most of these are teenage boys that played the pro juniors, so I'm not sure how they quite took it. I told them, I said, before you go home, don't show these to your mom, okay? Just leave it be.
Well, you know what I do when I go to a Comic-Con once in a while, I get a booth. And people are like, "What are you selling?" I just start telling jokes. And if I keep them there a few minutes, they're going to throw a tip in. But anyway, I have naked lady tees and I have Baby Ruths. You have to have Baby Ruths.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
what I do is I put together a little snack bag with a Baby Ruth, the naked lady tee, and my card. And I say, this way it'll take you a couple days before you throw my card away.
Now there might be a viewer or two of this broadcast that may not understand the Baby Ruth
All you need is a
reference,
swimming pool and you'll be fine.
and that's where you made. Why don't you mention that from the movie? Where that came about? What that scene was about?
Yeah, so what happened is the caddies got to go in the pool for 10 minutes. I believe it was on a Monday. The lifeguard would blow the whistle and all the caddies would take over the pool. And then what happened is a candy bar, a Baby Ruth got thrown into the pool. Well, of course it looked like to other people a turd. I'm going to use that word,
It was,
So
it was
Yeah,
like a turd.
actually, the FCC has approved that use of word for in that
Oh,
connotation. Yes.
thank you. I was trying to think of the right word to be respectful. So I got to tell you. So anyway, so an older woman noticed it, and everybody got out of the pool. So Bill Murray is draining the pool to the bottom, and at the very end, he sees the Baby Ruth, and he picks it up, looks at it, smells it, and eats it.
And hence the Baby Ruth. Hey, why don't you give us like if you were just walking around, why don't you just and you're at one of the Comic Cons or you're at one of the golf tournaments like ours coming up, and you're walking around meeting people. Why don't you get into your Rodney character for a couple quick one
Sure,
liners, and so people
sure.
can hear it, because we just heard a little excerpt and it's like, my goodness, holy cow.
Respectful stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
Whatever you
okay,
want to say. This
okay.
this, this is
I'll
a
tell
this
you.
not. There you go.
I'll tell you, I remember the first time I went hitchhiking and got beat up. I used the wrong finger. I had a lot of acne growing up. I fell asleep in the library. I woke up, there was a blind man reading my face. Oh, I'll tell you, I dated this girl. She was so ugly, I walked in the room, the mice jumped up on chairs. We sent her to a plastic surgeon. He added a tail. Oh, I'll tell you, no respect at all. I'm having a rough day today. I woke up this morning, I put on my shirt, a button popped off. I picked up my briefcase, a handle came off. I'm afraid to go to the bathroom. I got two kids, a boy and a girl. I said to the boy, "What do you want for Christmas?" He said, "I want a BB gun." What do you think? He got me a shirt with a bullseye on the back. It's horrible getting old. When you get old, food starts replacing sex. So I put a mirror over my kitchen ceiling so I could watch myself eat. My kid came in. I was embarrassed. I put a napkin over my entree. My wife put a mirror over the bedroom ceiling so she'd have something to laugh at all night. You're getting old. I went by a cemetery. Three guys were chasing me with shovels. I'll tell you, I dated this belly dancer, but we broke up. She told me I turned her stomach. What a crowd. What a crowd.
That's
That's
awesome.
fantastic. That's fantastic, man. It's going to be so much fun at the golf tournament. So, Jack, why don't you tell us about the Warrior Companion Golf Tournament come up? A special place, special time of the year, and Rodney's going to be there. So, why don't you tell us about the tournament coming up for our viewers?
So here in Liberty, New York, we have this wonderful 9-hole golf course that we were just talking about. Bill Murray, Tom Coyne, Jason Kelce, and there was an architect I can't remember his name
Tom
for the life of
Coyne.
me. And we're gonna do a 9 and dine with music. So maybe Rodney will be there with the boombox playing some good. I'm all right. But it's gonna be 9 holes. It's gonna be a lot of food, a lot of fun, all for charity. I believe the cheapest ticket's like around $73 a person, and if you want to get included in the meals and everything else, it's around $100. And all that money goes to charity. Um, Tom Coyne and Bill Murray and Jason Kels are donating the course for the day. So A lot of that money is going to go to the charity to help veterans, disabled veterans, and their service animals. And we get to meet Rodney. I mean, what the,
I can't wait.
I can't wait either. I'm like, I don't get any respect neither. So between the two of us, maybe we can dig some up. You know, it'd be
Well, that's
good.
fantastic. In fact, I'm gonna if I leave now, because I'm gonna walk up there. If I leave now, I'll be up there by mid-August. But I'll be definitely,
But
I'll
just
be
pack
up
two
there to
pairs
do
of
it. But
shoes because you know that wear and tear on the shoes.
yeah, but the tournament's on Sunday, June 14th. Is that correct, Jack?
That's correct. And
Okay,
it's
so 3 o'clock.
from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Golf. We tee off at 3 o'clock, and we golf until it's dark, and then we'll have a nice bonfire out there and some music playing and some good old food. So it'll be fun.
Wait
That's
till you see me dance.
oh,
Oh,
really?
Oh yeah.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Mark. This be kind of the last question to get you out of here. Is so, how did you go about uh, not only becoming an impersonator? We know that story now, but how did you learn Rodney? What did you have to do to learn that? I mean, did you have to watch Caddyshack 500 times, or what? How did you go about picking this up? Because it's you do such a great job with it, and you think that there you are, you're talking to Rodney Dangerfield. How did you prepare to be able to impersonate
Well,
Rod?
I'll tell you one thing that really helped is when I was going to the PGA show, I figured out that Loudmouth, kind of John Daly Loudmouth Company, um, made the reproduction pants. So I email them. Who emails me back? The CEO, Larry, not customer service. And he figures out from us going back and forth that I want to be at his booth, get paid to be at his booth at the PGA show. He goes, we don't pay our own people to show up. So he goes, what size are you? In the mail comes $600 of free clothes, leather belts, reproduction pants, bright yellow shirts that say Loudmouth. And that was the start of everything. So at that point, now I'm looking like him. And I never knew I looked like him. Seriously, I was not funny back in high school. I'm the kid they're going to throw into the locker. Seriously, I was not funny at all. So it just started building from there. And then I had to work on the voice. And the voice isn't where it needs to be. It starts sometime, hey, I got to tell. But I meet people with perfect Rodney voices, but they don't look like him. They can't tell a joke. And so, so I've got it all. I've got his jokes and I've got jokes in his style that I've come up with during the year. Or I see a joke on Facebook and I go, oh my God, it works as a Rodney joke and it's easy to memorize. And it's one of my new, favorite jokes. So I
well,
have to tell you, this is one of my favorite jokes. But hey, how do you know when your girlfriend's starting to put a little weight on? She starts fitting into your wife's clothes. Sorry about that.
Hey, that's pretty good.
it,
I'd have to
It
remember
is.
that
It is
one.
one. It's an easy one to remember, and it's a
Yeah.
good one for anybody to tell. So,
that's right.
Well, Mark, I went to your website to, just kind of refresh myself on your background and what you're doing. Why don't you tell our viewers out there, the address, your website, and what's on it, and how
yeah.
how we
So,
find.
so my website is Rodney D Impersonator.com. So anyway, it was too long. So you can also put in bestrodney.com and it goes to that site. The site gets no respect at all either. It could use a little work, but it's got pictures, it's got a little video. I've got a friend that's a Bill Murray impersonator on there.
Oh,
Maybe we could get him to do
oh,
something.
that'd
We
be
did a
kind of
big
cool
county
to
fair together in 12.
have a Bill Murray lookalike at the Bill Murray golf course. That'd be funny.
Yeah,
Oh my
he,
goodness,
you
yeah.
know, you know, you know what? We booked a big event at what would have been Henry Fonda's old house at a country club at the North Shore of Long Island, and I got him to do that. A company said, "Oh, can you get like a Bill Murray or a Judge Smales?" I wish I had a Judge Smales. Oh
Mm,
my God,
that's a
we had
good.
so many lines in the movie. Me and Bill did not directly. We really didn't. But anyway, my friend didn't go through his agent and these people were looking through the end user and the agent. So he felt awkward. So we're probably not working together anymore.
Oh boy,
But I've got all the jokes anyway. So
that's all right.
Well,
We'll try to
that's
get the
actually,
real. We'll try to get the real one there. That's what we'll work on.
Yeah,
oh my God, I would love that. Because when I met him, he didn't realize who I was. I had the pants on. I left the sweater at the shuttle bus parking lot because I didn't know if they'd let me in at Pebble Beach, what their level of funniness was.
Right.
So I should have had that on. That would have been a bigger hit.
well, that's fantastic. Well, so Marc, we appreciate you being on our podcast on Mic'd Up, and we're looking forward to this fall, June 14th, at the Sullivan County Golf Club for the Warrior Companion Golf Tournament. And Jack, it's always a pleasure to co-host with you with the Warrior Companion charity and the Canine Companions and all the things that you do with that. So for viewers out there you have it. I'm your host, John Rager, PJ Broadcaster. For Jack Bodolowski, founder of Warrior Companion, and also for Marc Melzer, who has got Rodney D Impersonator.com. Thank you for listening to our podcast, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
See you soon.